the next 1 hour is going to be like this, that like promised in the morning, we will do a hand holding session for the mixed signal simulation, in which we are going to explain to you what the example what example we are going to simulate together. So Mr. Ashutosh Jha, who was our intern, is going to explain the example to you. He will explain the VHDL code to you, and once that happens, we will move on to implementing the actual circuit. So before you just do that, in the drive link that I had shared earlier with all of you, in the day 3, I have actually added some files. So I request you all to download these files. I will share the link once more in the chat. So I've pasted the link in the chat. So please go and download these 3 files. There are 3 files there in the D3 section. So download them, extract them, and keep them ready on your desktop. So I think without any more delay, Ashutosh, I request you to take over.
So before the end of the afternoon session, right? So we had a discussion. I just give a brief view, just 1 minute. So if you see, I have written a code here. When I say rising edge of clock is there, the count has to increment, right? So this block is being, when you upload that VHDL code in our NGHDL, it will create this block. We have one input and one output. So you can see there is one input pin and one output pin. And this block is already having this behavior. What does it? This becomes a GHDL model. So how will I give the clock signal? So in normal tools, what happens? It is like you write clock is equal to 1 for this many nanoseconds and all. We use PWL or pulse or anything from ECM source. We give it to ADC and then we give it to clock. So whenever there is a rising edge of the pulse, my count will increment. How will I get the output again? Through the DAC and through the out. Am I clear? So this is what your mixed mode simulation. We are using ngSpice components and we are using a GHDL model. Right? Am I audible, right?
Yes, ma'am, clear.
Yeah, so you got this idea, right? How it works. So whenever the clock signal is given by your PWL and pulse or whatever, and how it implements, whenever the pulse is 1, the count becomes 0001, then again 0010, 0011, and so on. It's just up counter program. Okay, that's it. Because afternoon it was like I was talking something and you were not able to understand many participants. So this is how it works. So I'll stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, Ashutosh, you can start.
Okay, so this circuit has already been uploaded by Saurav in the drive, so everybody can download it. I'll just show what it is and I'll explain what this circuit does. So right now we will be simulating a thermometer to binary converter, basically analog to digital converter. So what we have done in the interest of time is we have already made the analog block for you guys, so you don't have to worry about making it'll reduce the time required. I'll just quickly explain this. Saurav, I'm audible, right? The voice is proper?
Yeah, we can hear you properly.
Okay, so my apologies, I have a very choppy internet connection. So if I get disconnected, just wait for 2 minutes. I'll reconnect, okay? All right, so here, first let me just show you the truth table for thermometer to binary converter. It will be much easier for me to explain then. So this is the truth table for thermometer to binary converter, basically analog to digital converter. So when there is one signal in the input, the binary output will be 0, 1. Similarly, when there are 2 inputs, it's 1, 0, and when there are 3 ones, it is 1, 1. Basically analog to digital. It's just a simple model that we are trying to simulate to make you guys understand. All right, so here we have 3 op-amps, LM741. They are there in the subcircuit, already there in eSIM subcircuits. So you can directly use it. We to the one second. Yeah, to the non-inverting terminal of each op amp, we are giving the input signal V in. It is a PWL signal. It will slowly keep increase. The voltage will slowly keep increasing over time. And to the inverting terminal, we are just providing a reference voltage. So there is just a voltage divider in the inverting terminal. So what this basically does is that when the when the input voltage crosses a particular threshold, like 1 volt, then the output of this comparator will go high. When it crosses 2 volts, output of this comparator will go high. For 3 volts, similarly. So I'll quickly, without wasting time, I'll show you what the output looks like, and then sort of later on we'll start showcasing how to run it, just for your understanding. Yeah, I'm sorry, the resistors are already there, no need to connect resistors. All right, the circuit is complete. Saurav, I think you can share the PWL this thing with them, or yeah, that you can do
Yeah,
later.
it is. Yeah, it is in the if the drive files that I've shared in the info.txt. This PWL source value is shared with you, all of you.
All right. So you don't have to do it exactly. I am doing. I'm just trying to show you what the output should look like so that you have a better understanding. Okay. All right. So as you can see, it's sort of it's visible, right?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. So the red signal is the input voltage. You can see it is slowly incrementing in steps, and the green signal is the output for comparator. So when the input signal crosses 1 volts, the output goes high. When the input signal crosses 2 volts, second comparator output goes high. And when the input signal crosses 3 volts, the third comparator. So this part will be already provided, so you don't have to waste time on it. Now I will explain the VHDL model for the thermometer to binary converter. Basically, this code is what you will be uploading in the NGHDL, and that will take care of the analog to digital conversion. So to explain the code, this beginning, it's just a standard header. Now we are specifying in the port specifications, we have 3 inputs, standard logic vector, 2 down to 0, 2 outputs, And basically what this code does is it counts the number of ones in the input. It converts the counted decimals. So here it is counting. Then it converts the counted decimals to binary in this line. And so it's very basic code. Okay, so I hope everybody has understood. If yes, then we can solve, or we can, like, you can proceed.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Asutosh. So, does anyone have any questions at this moment? I guess not. So, what I will do is I'll just, like I mentioned earlier, I have shared the link with all of you. So, there are total 3 files in the day 3 folder. So, what I need all of you to do is to extract these files and keep them on your desktop. So, this is my desktop view. I have put these 3 files: live session day 3. This is a project that Asutosh just showed all of you. This info.txt has some information about what the PWM signal value is. Then I have this T2B test. This is the code of the thermometer to binary converter block, which is also shared with all of you. So I request everyone to just get this setup ready in a minute, and I'll give you everyone a 1 minute. So before we proceed further, just get these 3 files on your desktop, so everyone will be at the same pace. Desktop or any other place where there is no space in the path. Like you can keep these files in C drive also. I have no problem. Okay, so I think our 1 minute has passed. I hope everyone has got the project on their respective this thing. So I have opened this file. I have opened this project with me. As you can see, this live session day 3. I have the schematic open with me, as Asutosh has showed. So now the next step in the process is that we have to upload the this VHDL file, like I mentioned, the digital block that we want to add in front of this, so that we get the desired output. We want to convert these 3 values into a binary code. So in order to do that, we have to upload this file. So the steps that you have to follow is open the NGSDL window. I want someone in the audience, if someone is willing to volunteer for this, maybe Priyan or Asutosh, or Asutosh Gupta or Gopal maybe. So someone can just follow these steps and let me know once they are done. So I'll have a rough estimate where everyone is. Yeah, okay. So once you have the NGSDL window open, on the browse button. Okay, so it gives you this open file window it appears. So since my VHDL file is stored in my desktop area, I will just go to desktop. I will locate my file. This is a T2B test file. As you can see, the description says it's a VHDL file modified at this moment. And if you have located it, after locating the file, just click open. So your file is loaded in this. You can see the path here. So I think I have already uploaded this file in my computer, only in my computer. So I may get 1 or 2 warnings. So you can ignore that. For you, it will be a first time upload. So it is not a problem for you. Then click on upload. Yeah, so I already have this file uploaded. So that's why I will overwrite this. Yeah, you can see that some log is coming. So it is doing that model creation in the backend. So this may take a few moments because this is a heavy work. So it takes a minute or 2 sometimes. Okay, so to the users who are doing this for the first time, you will get this message: library added. Library details for this model is added to the esim_ngSDL.lib in the esim in the KiCad shared directory. So was any one of you able to get this message? Priyan, Ashutosh, Gopal.
I was getting error.
Sri Ranjani has got this right. So we'll come to your error in a minute, Ashutosh. What is the error, by the way? Okay, anyway, so what we'll do is after once you have uploaded this model, now it has created its NGSDL model, it has created its KiCad schematic component also. So what we will do is we will exit this window. Its job is done at the moment. Then you go to this window, then you go back to your schematic, select place component. Now we want to add the T2T thermometer to binary block that we have created in the schematic. We want to add it here. So I will quickly type esim underscore NGSDL. As you can see, I have a T2B test block, which we described. Remember the inputs were 2 down to 3, 2 down to 0. That is total 3 inputs will be there. And for output, we have 1 down to 2. That is 2 outputs. So that's the corresponding block that we have got here. 3 inputs and 2 outputs, as you can see. Click OK. Now I have placed it here, but I cannot directly connect it to the op-amp. The reason being, this block is a digital block. It is going to operate in discrete signals, and this is a continuous signal. This is an analog component, so we have to interface them somehow. If you directly connect this to this, it is going to throw an error. So what we do is we place another component, which you can find in the eSIM hybrid library. We have this eSIM hybrid library here, as you can see. And from there, we will select an analog to digital bridge 3, ADC underscore bridge underscore 3, which has got 3 inputs, 3 outputs. So it expects analog inputs on one side and it will produce digital outputs on the other side. So I select OK. I take this and I will zoom in a little bit so you can see better.
Saurav, sorry to interrupt here, but will you be showing to add the NGSDL library? Do they need to add it separately?
No. So yeah, just a minute. So good point, Ashutosh. So by default, we have taken care that this error message, the confirmation message that we received in the beginning, that the component has been added to esim underscore ngsdl.lib. So that means that the library is added, but that particular library is present in your schematic or not, that you can check by doing the following steps. You have to go to preferences of your schematic. You have to select the component libraries, then scroll down, and by default, all the eSIM libraries are present, including eSIM underscore. If it is not present in your file, you click on add and it will show all these files. If it is not present in your schematic, you can choose it from here. Okay, here it is, eSIM underscore NGSDL. You can see the modified time is 14:24. Just 4 minutes ago we have changed it, so it will appear. I will not add it again because it's already there. And once you do that, you click OK. This way, okay. So far so good. So any doubts at till this point? Gopal is saying, can you repeat once? Gopal, can you specify which part? Gopal, you can type your answer. It's okay if you don't want to speak. You can type your answer. I can read it. Acha, how to add library? Okay, sure. So in order to add a library, what you have to do is you have to open your schematic first. Once you open your schematic, you go under preferences. In preferences, you will see another option, drop down menu, component libraries. Select that. Then it shows you how many libraries are already present for your schematic. Okay, so you can see these many libraries starting with ADC, DAC, memory, Xilinx, etc. The way till eSIM, NGSDL, all of these are present. Now, say if I want to add a new library, if say your eSIM NGSDL is not present for you, so what you do is you click on add. It will open the KiCads folder where KiCad is installed. This is where my KiCad is installed, C FOSSEE. And here you have to choose which library you want to add. So our desired library for this particular session is eSIM underscore NGSDL. I already have it, so that's why I'm not adding it. But if you don't, you will need to do that. For example, I will just add the Cypress library here. Okay, Cypress is already in use. So I believe Cypress is already there somewhere. So, and once you add something, let me show you actually I've added something. I'll add battery management. I don't believe it is there. So yeah, I've added management library. Now you can see the components present under battery management will now start to appear. This is just a demo. You do not need battery management library at the moment. So whatever is present under battery management, all the ICs have come up now. So is it clear, Gopal? Yes. Okay. I'll take that as a yes. Now we connect the wires now we connect these two blocks. As you can see, these are not connected. And now we have converted this signal coming from the comparators to digital domain using this ADC block. Then it will be fed to the digital block, this T2B test, which is a thermometer to binary code converter. And we will bring it back to analog domain again by using the...
Sir, excuse me.
Yeah.
So actually, while I'm opening the NGHDL, it's showing that it's not installed.
But okay. Anyone else have this problem? Priyan, are you getting this error? Because we had made some changes to Priyan's PC. I think a yes or no answer would be good in the chat or speak also. Okay, so I assume that apart from Ms. Vinita Reddy, no one else has this problem, and Asutosh, I believe, Asutosh Gupta. Everyone else is able to do this? So Ms. Vinita, please take a screenshot of it. At the end of the session, I will take all these things from you. Unfortunately, I have to move on because we are short of time. So
is this all available in spoken tutorials?
No, it is not. But whenever you want help with this, so you can write to us at our email address. We will be happy to help you.
Okay, because I could not work simultaneously while you are doing due to the error. So.
Yeah, I understand. So in that case, we can you can write to us later, and this is not just for you, for others also. Okay. If you're having problems with this NGSDL feature, please write to us. We'll try to resolve each and everyone's queries. But for now, I think I'll move on ahead.
Okay.
Sorry. So I will convert these. Now again, I have to convert this digital signal back to analog. So for that, I will use a DAC bridge. And I will just connect these two wires. And if you want to see plots, and by the way, the meeting is going to be recorded. So yeah, that's one thing I forgot to mention. This meeting is going to be recorded. It has already been recorded. So whatever I'm doing right now will be in material to you. We will share this video with you. So I'm skipping a little ahead. I'm moving a little fast. So as you can see, I'll repeat the setup once again. We uploaded this T2B test module using the NGSDL library, NGSDL feature. Uh, its library is already, its library will be loaded, so you can just export it here. You place the component here, then you attach a ADC to the analog side to convert the signal from analog to digital domain. Then to convert it back to digital domain, you have to use a convert it back to analog. You have to use a DAC. And then just to observe the plots, I have to ground this signal. I'm grounding this signal here. I've added 2 resistors. So, and well, the next thing is we want to observe the plots. What do we see at these out 1 and out 2? So this first node that you see for this resistor, it is going to be the first binary value, the output which the truth table which I showed earlier. So to observe those, I will just add 2 probes, plot underscore v1. So this is my plot. One plot for the upper bit. I will add a global label for it. I will name it bin1 as for first 1 bit of the binary signal. I connect this to the probe. Now to copy the probe and have another label, which is the second bit of the binary signal. Okay, so additional steps we have done. I hope at least some of you have reached till here. Can I get a small confirmation from the participants?
Can you please type on the chat window? That is also fine if you don't want to. See, as they are doing the live session, it will be better if you give constantly some feedback to them so that they know that they are going in the right direction.
Okay, yes, it's okay, able to follow. Okay, so now we have done these steps, we have added all these components. So now this same procedure that we do for any other circuit that we have been seeing for the past 3 days, that we have to annotate these components now. So I will do that. I check the default settings. I annotate it. Okay. Save the schematic. Then I will generate a SPICE netlist for this circuit. Okay, so SPICE netlist has been generated. We have we have added this thing in here. So the next step of the procedure is to convert this into a ngSpice compatible format. Sorry. So we again go back to the eSIM window, eSIM main window. I have this project open. If you refresh the file, you will see one more file is added, .cir. This is the list. Our newly added component should also be here somewhere. Yeah, it's here. I'm too lazy to find it, I guess. Yeah, here it is, T2B test. You can see this. And now we proceed for the KiCad to ngSpice conversion. And in the info.txt file that I've shared with all of you in the drive, so this is the same file that all of you have. So just enter these parameters here. So starting time is 0. Then the stop time, step time is 1 millisecond. And the stop time is 100 milliseconds. Then I come to the source details. Now source details are do not miss out any values, do not add anything. Just copy this line entirely and just simply paste it in this box. Control V, and all these files have to be. So is it clear so far?
Yes, sir.
So after we do, once we do that, so we are not touching anything in the device ngSpice model. So we will leave the values as default. We will not change any of these values. We proceed to device model. So there are no semiconductor models that we have used here. There is no diode, there is no BJT in this circuit, as you can see. So only thing is no op-amp. So we still have to check the sub-circuits tab. So in the sub-circuits tab, as we have 3 op-amps which are coming up. So let's just assign the particular appropriate library for it, sub-circuit library for it. You can see in eSIM library, sub-circuit library, I have this LM_741 selected for all 3 op-amps. Okay, so we have assigned sub-circuits to all 3 op-amps, and we click convert. You get this confirmation window that your conversion is successful. You can refresh your project contents to check that some extra files have been generated now. The file is this one, the one with extension.cir.out. So is everyone good so far? So far, have you anyone reached till the point where I am right now? Doing okay. So I'll repeat these steps one more time. That you do the in analysis tab, you have to enter 0 as the start time, 1 millisecond as the step time, and 100 milliseconds as the stop time. In the source details, a PWL value is given. PWL signal is piecewise linear. What this signal does is we are specifying the values as in at 0 seconds, the voltage value is 0. At 24.9 milliseconds, voltage value is 0. At 25 milliseconds, the voltage value becomes 1 volt. So like this is a like T1 V1 kind of thing that you specify the time and the corresponding voltage value for the source. Then we are leaving the ngSpice model values default. There are no device models, so we will nothing will appear here. And since we have 3 op-amps, we will add those sub-circuit files here. We convert once again, and now I think I've caught up. Okay, some are able to follow. So I will just simulate this circuit now, and hopefully we get the output that you want. Okay, so we have received some plots. As you can see, there are many plots. So what were the what we were interested in was mainly the binary one and the first bit of the binary code and the second. So I'll just put them one above the other so that it's easy to compare. Yeah, so, and this is a good graph that we have. So if you remember the table that Ashutosh was telling you all in the truth table that he had explained, that when there is no output at the comparator side, the analog side is completely 0. None of the 3 signals are. I'll plot them in one window.
Saurav, I think you can use the matplotlib. This one.
Yeah, okay. Sure. So, yeah, before I do that, I'll just quickly finish this here. So when the now referring to the time scale, you can see that for the for almost 25 seconds something, there is no input signal from the analog side. There is no signal whatsoever. So at that time, the binary bit is 0. As you can see, 0, 0. Once the first comparator goes high, that is till maybe 50 milliseconds. So the only one comparator is up. So that time the value becomes 0 and 1. Then again we have the voltage increases with time. With time the voltage increases, so the second comparator's output also goes high. So then the value again becomes 1 and 0. Then again you cross around after 75 milliseconds. The third comparator also shows a high output, and finally for the last combination you get 1 1. So if you remember your truth table, for the value of 0 0 0 you have 0 0. For the value of 0 0 1 you have 0 and 1. For 0 1 1 you have 1 0, and for all three of them 0 in this section you have the corresponding 2 bits going to 1. So, and like Ashutosh suggested, this is a very good utility that we have in eSIM. So we can see these 12. Just plot the binary. A lot of nodes here today. So I can save this file. Desktop. So if you zoom in, you can see. So I think this other plot was better in that sense. So this is how we have. Yeah, someone is speaking. Yeah, please. If anyone has questions, please go ask. Any steps of the process that you would any of you would like me to repeat? We have good 11 minutes before the next presentation, so I'm happy to take some questions or to repeat some of the steps if you want.
Sir, excuse me. Myself, Sri Ranjani.
Okay.
Actually, I'm having one window opened, that is NG Spice. What is the data it is coming here? From where it is coming? Client message sent and then received.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the log of the, so if you remember my 11:30 talk, so there I had mentioned that this is a client server architecture. Like the NGSDL acts as the server and the NGSpice is the client in this case. So this is a log. This is the log of that architecture. So you can actually see some of the values here. So this is what you, from your thermometer, if you remember this ESDL file, this is your input, therm, and your output is OP. So you can see that the client message sends 000, it receives OP 0. Okay, the first cycle. Then you move on, then you send 000, you get output as 01. You move a little ahead, 011, you get OP as 10. Then you make all of them 1, then you receive the output as 11, decimal 3. So that's what this is. Just a log. This is a useful feature for it helps us also troubleshoot things. It helps the user also troubleshoot some things. So that's why these logs are coming up. Ashutosh, your error is something to do with installation. So I didn't address it at the moment. Is because it could take it could have it could take more time to cover this, but we'll be happy to take that error and resolve it after 5:30, maybe after 5 o'clock, or even Monday we can have a discussion if you're free. But we'd like a copy. If you can take a screenshot, and this is a request to everyone, you can just take screenshot or videos of your errors that you are getting, and if you can mail it to us, we can. It is a very valuable feedback, as so we also know what are the areas in which we can improve. So it would be a really valuable addition if you can share your errors that you have received, that you may or may not have received in the last 3 days. You can send them as docs or any format. And so this is a relatively very new feature. This is the first time we are actually doing this for Windows operating system. We have a Linux version of this mixed signal system, which is very, very stable. But since most of the people do not use Linux OS, we ported this with the help of our editors, and our team also helped in this. So we ported this to Windows, but as it is evident, there are still some bugs that we have to fix rather. So any doubts related to the circuit? Are the steps clear? We will share the recording with you, of course, but if you have any doubts, we still have like 5-6 minutes. So you can redo one of the steps if you want. Yes, Ashutosh.
While making a pure digital circuit, we can use NGSDL feature. No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pure. So see, we are doing a behavioral simulation here, right? Like Gloria mentioned earlier. Your question was that if I define a clock, where does the clock come from? So if suppose you have this, you have say this input signal 3 is your clock, you add a pulse. Sorry, not plus. You add this pulse and you assign the clock value, how much, what is the frequency that you want the clock to be, and it will give you a precise value. You just connect it to an ADC, and this thing will start acting like a clock. You can try numerous combinations. Once we resolve your issue, you can try numerous combinations, and we have tried a lot of examples. Actually, there are a lot of examples. If I can just show you quickly in eSIM NGSDL. So in example folder, there are multiple examples that we have. Combinational logic, binary to gray converter. We have a counter example. We have multiple counter examples are there. There's decoder, adders. So mux, demux is also there. So VHDL code is present. You will have to design the circuitry around it, of course. And logic gate, basic gates are also given. So you can start with these, then go to the combinational logic, and then you can come to these 2 custom examples that we did. Okay, thank you.
So I think they don't have any more queries or doubts.
Yeah. So I think the session was a little packed and could have. Maybe it was a little fast paced. So to all the participants, if this was the recording will be shared with you, please you can watch it later, and if you have any other doubts, you can always write to us. You can ask in the forums also that I want to perform this step, so how do I go about it? And we will help you. This is not just for the workshops. After workshop also we are here. So if there are no more doubts, I think I'll stop sharing my screen.
Okay, I think if there is no more feedback and all, then I think we can go to the next session.